Okay. So, one slight problem with the gradient editor, which is a feature of my GUI I hadn't recalled. One of the reasons the volatile boxes are good, and one of the reasons that the load window deactivates all the other windows, is that one of the features of the GUI is that gadgets are brought to the front when they're activated. So I have a problem, which is that when I run the editor, I can open the gradient set editor window and I can click on another gadget, and the gradient set editor window will not close. It's just been sent to the back. It's now behind this gadget and will never ever be retrieved. So I have what options? Let me have a little bit look at the GUI. I mean, the one one option, which isn't great, is just to do the thing that I do with the file requester, which is I do a whole bunch of stuff, but main zone active is false is the one thing I do. That's so strange that I do that, though I have to actually just check exactly in Gadget, in init. Main zone desktop is from main zone. But I set main zone to be inactive, did I just say? GUI image, okay, material font shader, all that, just normal stuff. The thing I need to look at for a moment is window base. Set up window base, set up desktop. Okay, I don't quite understand this. I thought I just read that desktop was a child of main zone. Yeah, new zone, this is the parent I'm looking at here. Now if I go all the way back down to file requester, new, it sets up the window base. Then sets its parent to root, then sets main zone active to be false. Okay, well, this is a thing I can do. Okay, cleanup, super cleanup, last directory equals current directory, main zone active equals true. Okay, right, so I should do this instead. I should self-remove, but I should also do cleanup. Okay, main zone active, that's the thing I need to think about. I'm deactivating, deactivating all of the back, all of the main zone. I am going to do it that way for now. So in new, let me just, I am not going to take any chances, I'm going to flick backwards and forwards. GUI, here's the new anyway, right here. It sets it up, sets the parent to root, deactivates the main zone. So I can set it up, self set parent root main zone active equals false. Now down here, I'll just say self-remove. I'm going to take, I'll just rem it just now, because I do want to do method cleanup. Is it void? Override and super cleanup. Do a super cleanup, please. And that, and main zone active equals true. Okay, cleanup is something different. Cleanup is declared override. Excuse me? This does not extend a gadget, does it? No, it extends a window base. Oh, I really, really wish this mouse wheel was just super slick. Oh, hang on, I know why. It's because it should be in there. I keep forgetting. This class is inside my recursor class. Okay, let's give that a go. Crazily. I don't know why I feel so confident about that. Then I can get on to the next little things. It's not ideal. I mean, honestly, I think I realised that when I imagined using the windows, I imagined the backdrop not being a gadget. But actually, yeah. I'm going to have to look again at how I made those windows work. And again, as part of a huge GUI refresh, restructure, I will change it because I like having a GUI of my own. Even though my GUI is missing several major gadgets, it's got quite a lot and it works okay. Okay, let's see if I get this. And everything else goes dead. I can't click it, it can't be activated, so it cannot be brought to the front. And then, is my mouse running down on battery? Is that what is... It'd be nice if that was what was damaging the mouse wheel. Anyway, then I cancel, everything else comes back. I can bring it back. I can't do anything until I'm stopped playing with the gradient. And it is annoying that the reason it's like that is because of a limitation of my Windows system, which doesn't need to be there, or at least if I was a bit cleverer it could be different. And certainly in my other app that I'm developing with this GUI, I have managed to make it such I would honestly have to go back and remind myself how it is I did it. But you work on a worktop like this with multiple windows in front. Anyway, so now the next thing that I have to do is create separate zones for the horizontal and vertical controls of the gradient definition thing. Just for larks, I'm going to make sure everything else still works. It does. It's satisfying to play with once in a while just to remind myself, oh yeah, it's still pretty cool and good fun. Right. Next stage of this. Let's see. Excuse me, very rude of me. So, first off, I need a couple of extra zones. Gradient editor, look, got ahead of myself. I need a field horizontal zone, comma, field vertical zone. Don't need that, do I? Okay. And down here, inside, new, I will have okay, I will have horizon equals new zone child of the edit panel, starting from button height x, y position 0, width edit panel face width minus button height, height button height, horizon align sides left locked, right locked, top and so top and bottom locked to the top. So left to the left, right to the right, top to the top, bottom to the top. Vertical zone equals new zone, edit panel. Now this has to start, its X position is 0, 0, its Y position is button height, its width is button height, and its height is the edit face height minus button height, and it is aligned, align sides, left sticks to left, right sticks to the left, top sticks to the top, and bottom sticks to the bottom. Now, oops, that was very strange. Okay, and also this. Right, now, inside here, where I create these sets of things, first off, I'm creating the horizontal ones first. Cx now equals 0, 0, because these are going to appear inside horizone. They're still going to be the same width. They're going to basically be the same size, it's just that I don't have to start from the offset. Let me just think if all that's right. And again here, horizon. Okay. And I actually, I don't need to do this now. And the reason I don't is because those sides are exactly aligned with the end of their parent zone. At least I don't think I need to do it now. I'm going to check that. I don't need to change anything about the horizontal zone. I just need to make sure that these are added to it. And similarly here, cy now equals 0, 0 again, because this is going into the vertical zone and it starts right at the top of the vertical zone. Similarly here, their zone. And I think similarly again, I don't need to do that. They can all be arranged the same. Like the top of the top button in the vertical set can be proportional, but only because it starts exactly at 0. That looks okay. No, this, no, this, I'm not quite being right here. This is where it equals call width. This is where it equals 0. This is where it equals row height. And this is where it equals 0. Still, everything else should work out. Here we go. Now, if I'm right, all the things should line up in this now. Well, we'll see. It's not going to look bonny when it's all squished up, but there's not much I can do about that. Well, there is actually, isn't there? I can faff around with finish resize so that it positions a bunch of consistently sized color buttons. That would help. And it would make the sum of the buttons in the side panels change size of it. Let's see how this works. Okay, well it looks right. Yeah, look at that. Okay, well that side one works. That top zone's pretty funny. It's scaling correctly, but do you know, I don't think that's quite right. Let's see, that will be a new, where I determine horizontal zone 0, 1, left, right, top, bottom. Okay, those ones are right. The top, oh, of course, both the top and the bottom should be aligned with the low side, which is to say the top side of the gadget, their parent gadget. So now it will be lined up with the top. The bottom and the top of the top zone, horizontal zone, will remain the same distance from the top of their parent gadget. Gradient, gradient. Right, that is as it should look. The things disappear into infinity, which is fine, I don't care. You know, that's... In a way I quite like that because it just shows it's obeying the rules. So, now, all that has to happen is I have to make it actually work. I like the resizing gadgets. I'm annoyed all this has had to be switched off for it. But, hey ho, it's not the end of the world. Anyway. Right. So I think that the next thing that I have to do to think about this is think about gradient set, adding things to a gradient set. In my gradient class, I have these insert color after, insert color before. Add color works differently. It receives RGBA and will create a color, I guess. They all create colors. This is not very clear because that's where it creates the color. Excuse me, yeah, they all create colors. They accept an RGB and A. So, that's fine. That's fine. But for a gradient set, what I need to be able to do is method insert. I'm just going to call it insert column. Column void. I'm going to call it insert column after. And what do you ask it for is a gradient. And insert column before void g gradient equals null, if not g return, and method insert row after. In this case it's an index, a number, it's an unsigned int, equals, no, I'll make it an int because I'm going to send, this is, I'll make it an unsigned int, equals 0, and method insert row before. So, with these four methods you should be able to do anything that you need to that set. Now I'm not saying which gradient is to be inserted in here, because when I'm using the editor that's not going to be the way it works. I'll have it auto-generate a gradient from its neighbouring gradients in the set. Similarly, for a row, when you're inserting a row, in the case of a gradient, when you insert a color into a single gradient, you select the color you're inserting. In the case of this, you'll just say you want a new row, and it'll auto-generate a set of colors, according to my cleverness. Let me remind myself about inserting before and inserting after when you're dealing with a linked list. Right, tnode, list node equals find node with this value. If not, return. Make a new thing. Insert after the node. So let's have a think about how that would look. It would be something like local, it's a gradient node, list of gradient node equals gradients, gradients find node G. If not G node, return. That means it hasn't been found. You have passed a gradient, but it hasn't been found inside this gradient set. Now, I need to generate a new gradient, and I need to base its contents on the surrounding gradients. The trickiness of this is that it may be on the end, kind of like again, just like my list of segments. If I'm adding a gradient to the end, I kind of want it to be the same as the other gradient, the previous end gradient, if I'm adding it to the start or the end. If I'm adding it in the middle, then I want it to come from between. Now this does bring me to an interesting thing about what the actual point of the gradient set is to do, which is to return a totally fresh gradient. Method getGradient, and it returns a gradient when passed a value. And the value is a time between 0 and 1. So, get gradient, I really just think that's fine, dude. Missing, okay, sorry. Local, new gradient equals new gradient. Return a new gradient, okay? Now I'm going to have a little think about this, because really what this does is it returns a new gradient with the same number of colors in it as are in the gradients in your set, but it could be drawn from in between the columns, so to speak. You feed in a value between 0 and 1, and it gives you a new gradient where each color is based on the position this gradient is drawn from along the timeline. Is there anything? Yeah, it's not really that sort of... The reason I'm going to code this now is because it's going to be useful for getting, like if I click plus here, a new column needs to be added in there, and I may as well use the get gradient to generate the color values that are going to go into that column, because get gradient is what I'm going to use when actually rendering the gradient style curve. I will use get gradient to generate a gradient for each frame. ticking through the animation. So now I have to think actually a little bit more clearly again. Do I really want to make it such that I only determine time curves for the red, green and blue components at the moment you get the gradient? I think I do. Get gradient will be called when a new column is added, so not like every frame. And get gradient will be called when a new frame of animation is rendered. So again, it's not like this isn't something that's happening just every frame by frame as you're using the editor. So I think that the gist of what I'm trying to say is that inside get gradient is where I actually configure the time-wise splines from gradient to gradient. Now all I'm really trying to do is generate a series of colors, so I don't have to store all the splines up, I just have to generate them one by one. So if I say for first off I'll say local number of colors int equals first things first, if local numg int equals gradients count, if numg equals 0, return null. Now, should it still return just a blank gradient? Probably something like that. Probably. But, well, let's face it, I'm not doing that just now. The number of gradients does not equal 0. Got something to draw from to generate the new gradient. So now I say local I uint equals 0. How am I doing this? Because I want to go through the colors one by one, and for each color go through the gradients, generating a set of 4 splines which are to be used to, which are to be sampled to generate the new color. So local r float num gradients, comma g float num gradients, comma blue float num gradients, comma alpha. Am I getting this wrong? Alpha float num gradients. So now I have space to what? Expecting something but encountered something. I so easily baffled? Oh, okay. Right, I forget how this works. Equals new float. What is it? Something like that. Num_g. Do you no? No, you don't accept that. New float. Num_g. Do you accept that? I've just totally forgotten how to declare. Like, I think I probably did it up here, didn't I? Not. I'm so sorry about this. Idiocy. Sheer idiocy. In here. Gradient editor. Update edit panel. New my button. Okay. Square brackets. Number of things. Why is my brain going so dead? Get gradient is here I bloody was. Okay. You okay with that? Yes, I know it's important. I'm just complaining because my memory is so bad for remembering these things. New float. Num_g. Float equals new float. Num_g float equals new float. Okay. No. This bit's wrong. This needs this, and this needs this. Okay, that is space for the splines that I will generate. Now, so it's like I want to get a color out of each gradient, and I think that I'm going to do it by, I'm just going to have to hunt through get by index. I'm going to have to, yeah, get color by index. And so what am I actually going to do? Am I going to set a color by index, generate a new color by index? I'm not. I'm going to set a color by index. And it's in a gradient. It's method set color by index. This is just wrong. And you have out g color equals null. If not out, return end. Now, getting things by the index. Out, color, and index. I. Right. Now do I want to, I think I do. If I is less than, I can't be less than 0, can it? Or I is greater than or equal to colors count. Okay. So now I want to say local current node list g color node equals colors first node. Okay, now I want to say for while, oh god, what is it I'm really doing? While I is greater or less than CNI and CNI plus equals 1 and CN equals CN successor. Now out set oh, that bloody mic was turned off. That thing is gonna drive me fucking insane. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to concentrate as well. It's been a long day and I'm tired. Okay, so now set color by index. We'll set this out color by I. If I is outside the range of the colors, forget it. If you haven't specified an out color, forget it. Local CN list color equals nodes colors first node. If count colors is 0, greater than equal to, yeah, that's right. CNI current node index is 0. Right, okay, I think that's it. Problem here. Expecting expression but encountered method. That's because I'm not saying when. Why does it need a when? Alright, okay. Return. Sorry. Okay, I think you should find it's alright now, yes, thank you. Okay, let me check my time. This has tired me out actually thinking about this little thing. And actually it's 38 minutes, so I'm very annoyed my mic cut out at the end there. I'll see how bad it is. This is just slowly coming along. So now the gradient sets are beginning to have the relevant methods added to insert these big chunks into them and figure out the colours that have to be automatically selected. I'll carry on next time.